Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Green White Checker TV. I am Boomer Logan, and I am excited to bring you the Area 51 Super Speedway Truck Series tonight. We are looking forward to should be the sixth race of our season. It's going to be a wild one here as we come back to Daytona International Daytona International Speedway for the second time this season. We're looking for race number 6 tonight, and including tonight, there will be 2 more races before we get into our playoffs. So getting tighter and tighter for the championship battle. And I do also have my trusty sidekick here, Maxwell Caldwell, with me tonight. How you doing tonight, Maxwell?
Doing good, Boomer. Glad to be here tonight. First time I'm getting to broadcast with you somewhere other than Talladega, so that's pretty nice. They changed the schedule up a little bit this year, but we're at beautiful Daytona, man. Nice morning time here. They're setting it up where the track's going to heat up as this race goes on, and you know with these trucks, as the track heats up, these things are going to get looser and looser. And I've already heard the word compatibility from some drivers in practice tonight. So they know who they can work with and who gets them squirrely. And I already know some inside info, some teammates with the 23 and the 1. They don't push well together tonight. So don't look to see them working a bunch and trying to push real hard tonight. But as we see qualifying here, we see some guys laying down some laps, Boomer.
Definitely qualifying underway here. About 3 more minutes to go for that. And as you mentioned, we do have a air temperature, a nice 69 degrees right now, and the track temperature currently 74 degrees. So we will be getting a little warmer as the sun comes up here. Obviously, you get the opportunity to set the sim time to anything that we please. So they're electing to do the morning, as you have mentioned. So it'll be tight, as we mentioned. This will be the 6th race of 8 races in the regular season before we move into our 4-race playoff format with the top 8 in points moving on to compete for the championship. As of right now, we do have Gabe Butler atop of the standings with 187 points, with Todd Siebels in second at 148. JD Crow with 144, Gary Slapinski 140, and Richard Sanchez with 125. Other than Todd Siebels, the rest of the top 5 all collecting a win so far this season. We do have a few more drivers that are going to be competing for that top 8 as of right now. Robert Rock, Dean Wilkinson, and Vicente Guerrero are all claiming the top 8 spots for that playoff at the moment, but we do have peeking in really close, only 6 points outside of 8th place are actually tied BK Anderson and Eric Laurie. The tiebreaker, according to Sim Racer Hub, going to BK at the moment. And then we do have Michael Spell, who is 9 points out, and Robert DuPont, who is only 25 points out in 12th place. So it's going to be quite a bit of a battle here as we get tighter to the end of the regular season. We do have 1 drop week, so 7 of the 8 races will count. So definitely looking to get a little bit crazier here and maybe a little bit more desperation as we move on to the season, Maxwell.
Absolutely. And, you know, when we get down to these last 3 races, what these guys know, they know a drop week's going to come around week 7. So what they're looking for is they're looking for 3 solid weeks to get some really good top 5 finishes. So when that drop week hits, they can drop one of those bad finishes. And that can be the difference in making the top 8 and not. That's something interesting Area 51 does. That drop week really changes stuff up. But going into week 8, we'll have that drop week typically in effect, and we'll kind of have an idea throughout the night who's going to make it in and who's going to be just outside of it. But plenty of good truckers sitting outside the top. Look, in 14th place in points, Sebastian Marin had to miss a couple races this season. He's really looking to stay solid the next 3 races. He could still maybe make it in, but he's got a long way to go still in the points. He's going to have some guys have some bad nights. But, man, we got a lot of storylines going into this one. And above all, Boomer, it's Daytona.
Yeah, that it is. Always excited to come back to the World Center of Racing. Definitely one of my favorite tracks to race at. I absolutely love the super speedway racing, and Daytona is just so special. I mean, there's so much history with this track, and it means a lot to win here, whether you're doing it in real life or in the sim world. So definitely going to be special tonight for the lucky driver who will sit on top of the field at the end of the night. So definitely going to be exciting, as it looks like we are shifting over to the race grid. You saw the sun move up a little bit in time, and we are going to see if we can grab a view of our cars as they take the grid tonight. You see the pace truck should be sitting on pit road already, and we're just about getting ready to go. So we will actually pull up the grid at this time. So we do see Sebastian Marin in the 23 taking the pole tonight with Gabe Butler, his teammate, to his outside, Mark Mann, and our last week's race winner, J.D. Crow, on the second row, Vicente Guerrero and Seth Gruber rounding out row number 3 with Gary Slapinski, Eric Laurie, Bud Steele in the 6, and Robert Jordan in the top 10. We do also have on row number 6 Tom Dixon and Kyle Heath. Moving to our second page here, we do have Randy Miner in the 13th position with David Overstreet to his outside, Charles Sanchez and Derek Walker in 15th and 16th, followed by Keith Horner, Andy Brigante, Taylor Toller, and BK Anderson to round out your top 20 for tonight. Joshua Gathright, and Donald Stewart, followed by Diego Vasquez and James Moen. Round out your top 24. Looking for at least one more page of drivers here. So we do have Robert Rock starting 25th, Jay Hillard, Dale Willoughby, and Andrew Schroeder in P28. Bob Fitzgerald and Jason Adams round out your top 30, and the rest of our field will be Todd Siebels, Richard Sanchez, Dean Wilkinson, and Michael Malm. Getting ready to grid here. Have a little bit of time before we roll off pit road, but shouldn't be too much time here. See if we can get a good view of our leaders. So what is the biggest thing that you're going to be looking for tonight here, Maxwell, as we head back to Daytona International Speedway, for the second time this season?
Going to be looking for a couple things tonight, Boomer. One is going to be the apron, believe it or not. Had a lot of drivers in practice watching them, and man, if you just clip that apron tonight, you can really get out of sorts quick. At Talladega, we have a little banking down on the apron. Here at Daytona, it's completely flat. You go from 30 degrees of banking down to nothing. So the double yellow line going to be super important. If someone's 3x3 in the pack and they clip that apron, look for a big accident to come when they try to save it. And also, don't know how the first Daytona race went here this season, but I'm going to be looking at pit road. Not too much different in Talladega, but still just slightly different. This track's just a little bit smaller at 2.5 miles. It's not the 2.66 that Talladega is. And, you know, we've seen some pit road incidents with some big-name drivers this season, so definitely something I'm going to be watching for. But you can see who's out front tonight, the 23 and the 1. You know what they're trying to do. They're trying to get as many points as possible and try to see if they can lead some laps and be up front till the end. Gabe Butler hung out in the back last week, but here he is up front. Going to be some drivers to watch tonight.
For sure. Definitely looking forward to tonight. That 23 Chuck on the pole will be looking to get some more points tonight. He's, like we mentioned, currently 26 points out of the playoff spots, even though he does already have a win. So we'll be looking to see him try and get up there to the top 8. Obviously, we still do have one more drop week, but any points that he can grab are going to help. But we are going to be rolling out of turn number 4. And it looks like the pace car will be taking its trip down pit road in just a second. And we will be ready to take the green flag, always controlled by the lights in iRacing, or the green flag that is thrown by iRacing. And we are underway here for 75 laps at Daytona International Speedway.
Absolutely. And going into turn 1, notice the separation the 1 and the 23 had. Makes me think that they're trying to hang out where they can line up together. They got J.D. Crow back there behind Gabe Butler, along with not really a teammate, but a guy that's been working with them the past couple weeks. You got Seth Gruber out there all in line with them. Some fast trucks in that outside lane, and we're seeing it as they power down the backstretch.
Yeah, Seth is definitely, without his brother tonight, unfortunately, he's really his only teammate in the league, but definitely one of those guys that you can expect to be pushing his way towards the front. So we'll be looking to see, it's really been a season full of teamwork all season long. We've seen the 1, 2, 3 by TW Motorsports. We've seen a couple of those by the Bootnaka Esports guys. So it'll be interesting to see how teamwork pays off. Really is more advantageous to be able to actually push the guys in front of you and get that help versus trying to do it all by yourself.
Absolutely, and as these drivers come through turn 2 on lap 2, something I'm already noticing, we're not 3 wide yet tonight, Boomer. Everybody's kind of minding their P's and Q's. We're at Daytona, and it's not much narrower, but in the trucks, it really feels like it's a lot narrower here at this track. So Definitely not as much room as Talladega has. So look for 3 wide to be something we'll see toward the end of the race. But guys just trying to log laps and see if we can get some green flag running, because we've had quite a few cautions the past 2 races. So maybe these guys are trying to settle into a rhythm early as we see JD Crow get a little wiggly there up front, pushing the 1, but the 1 leads that lap.
Definitely going to be interesting to see who is going to eventually take it 3 wide. We have highlighted before that this track is only 40 feet wide, whereas Talladega is 48 feet wide. So definitely less of an opportunity here to go 3 wide at all times, whereas at Talladega it's honestly quite easy if you're able to hold a steady line to get those 3 lanes going. But here at Daytona, will be interesting to see who's going to try it first, but as of right now, everyone just kind of quiet and calm and willing to kind of settle in here. The biggest thing that we're going to have to see maybe is going to be some pit strategy, just knowing that if you're really stuck where you are without being able to move too much, you might have to deal with making moves on the pit strategy more so than actually making moves on the track here, because it's so much tighter.
Absolutely. And, if you're sitting here and you're stuck like where Eric Laurie is there, 4th truck on the inside line, can't really go nowhere. You got guys on the outside, guys in front of you. The thing I'm doing is exactly what I see. He's just kind of keeping a little bit of a gap, and he's managing that throttle pedal. He's saving a little bit of fuel. If he can save a little bit, even if he pits at the same time as other drivers, he's taking that much less fuel on the stop. And how many times have we seen on a pit stop that 1 second difference here at these super speedways can determine who gets out front and spaces out and who gets stuck back in the 2nd and 3rd pack after green flag stops? Could be the difference in winning this race tonight and losing it.
Definitely going to be a big difference here as we click on lap number 5. Still a long way to go, but just you've mentioned already that the distance of this track is a little bit shorter than the bigger Talladega. 2.66 miles here, only 2.5 miles here at Daytona, so a little bit longer for fuel runs. You will be able to stretch it out over 20 laps, whereas at at Talladega, you're usually trying to pit by lap 19, 20 at the absolute maximum. So we'll see low 20s here for green flag pit stops, up to the low 20s at least. Maybe if there are a few yellows here and there, maybe gives them a chance to settle in and save a little bit more fuel, but we are currently riding on the back of the 23 truck, as he is actually going to be 2nd in line. Gabe Butler is going to lead this lap, and you can see how tight it really looks here at Daytona. I mean, it's almost daunting, and we do actually see the Gabe Butler jumping down in front of Sebastian Marin. Let's actually go back to JD Crow here, first guy on the outside line. You can really see that how little room there really is here. There is a 3rd lane, but it's really tight. You got to keep it straight as possible. So it'll be interesting to see how tight this field gets here throughout the night.
Absolutely, and I wouldn't worry for a minute that they're not going to get 3 wide at some point, because if you get the right guys up there, right above that dashed white line that we see in the corners, if you can get up there right next to the wall and you've got 3 to 4 guys behind you, you can get such a massive run here at Daytona. I think even more than Talladega. I mean, the banking there, especially in the front stretch, just helps keep the momentum going. So definitely a huge game changer. A couple years ago, I was running a plate race, and I was able to go from the back to the front with just me and one other guy just because we took the 3rd lane. So there's definitely always been speed up there. You got to have the right people. And some teams I'm thinking of, Team Bootknocker obviously could run that high line really well, and also TW Motorsports. I could see them guys hooking up late when no one else is up there and trying to rocket to the front to get their team some nice top 5 finishes.
Yeah, a lot of those guys are currently hanging out towards the back of the pack. We do see Robert Rock, Charles Sanchez, Andrew Schroeder, Dean Wilkinson, Todd Siebels, and Richard Sanchez all at the back of this pack. About 2.5 to 3 seconds off of the pace, just riding around and being quiet for now. They do have their teammate of Randy Miner up here, 5th in line, it looks like, in the outside row. But for the most part, it's really been these guys from Bootnaki Esports they're leading the charge. Gabe Butler leading a handful of laps, Sebastian Marin as well. JD Crow 2nd in line on the outside line. But we do have a couple challengers down here. We do have Mark Mann and Vicente Guerrero in the inside line there, 2nd and 3rd. We do have that Seth Groover there. So, we do see maybe a little bit of a push from JD Crow getting the 23 low sideways, or 23 just making an aggressive move to the bottom to cut in front of his teammate there. So definitely going to be interesting to see that teammate, how these teammates do work together, and probably eventually see these TW guys maybe trying to find that third lane late in the race to move forward.
Absolutely. And you talk about the move the 23 just made in the front. He was the one I was talking to a little bit tonight in practice, kind of seeing how they were feeling. Previous teammates of mine, when I do run, that's who I run with. And he was the one complaining about guys not being compatible with him. So maybe that 5, kind of getting him a little squirrely. And notice the 1, he's going to push a little, but he's not going to push very aggressive, because you can see just how squirrely he's getting that 23 truck as they go into turn 3. The 23 doesn't have very many trucks that he feels comfortable with, but I do know if he can get that 0-2 of Seth Groover on his back bumper, they were pushing very well in practice. So look for the 23 when he gets the first opportunity to try to partner with Seth and see if he can stick with him most of the race, even over some of his teammates, just because of how squirrely his truck gets with his teammates tonight.
Yeah, we will. It'll definitely be interesting to see here. Seth Groover riding with the Roswell Motorsports guys. That's Bud Steele, Jason Adams, and Kyle Heath as well. So at some point may be able to pick up some of his teammates there. But I do want to take a second. We've got a couple people chiming in the chat for the Derek Walker fan club. So we'll take a second to highlight the number 20 truck currently running in P11 in that outside row. Had a couple chats here saying hashtag Team Walker. So let's go. Another one, let's go Team Walker. So got some fans cheering in the stands, so thank you guys for watching tonight, and doing good so far as he's keeping quiet in 5th in line in that outside row. Has been pretty much double file, not a lot of movement. We've seen the 23 and the 1 kind of jumping back and forth, but everything else has been pretty quiet here so far, and it's kind of nice to have some patience, or see some patience maybe early on here.
Absolutely. Like I said, the last couple of weeks, they've known how the races have been really, I don't want to use the word wrecky because that's not a word, but it's kind of what it's been. They've just been kind of on the wrecking side of things. So a lot of these guys just biding their time, taking their time. They're 2x2. There's not really anything dangerous about how they're running. As I can see from my view, everybody's got plenty of space between them. They're just cruising, especially that 20 truck, highlighting him. Haven't seen him much in the league. Kind of the name may be a new one for me. But he's running in good company tonight, up there with Gary Klopinski and Gabe Butler, J.D. Crow, last week's winner, and the 23 of Sebastian Marin. I mean, he's up there with good guys learning how they manage this race. Maybe he can make a run toward the end, but you've also got some wily veterans like Bud Steele down there just biding his time. He's 7th car in the bottom lane. You got Kyle Heath down there in the 54. He's running well tonight. The 7 back there, Dale Willoughby. He is so fast when it comes to these plate races, but he will definitely wait till the end before he makes his move. So got some guys just chilling out and hanging out right now. So look for us to hopefully be seeing some green flag pit stops in the next few laps.
Yeah, definitely. Probably about just over halfway through this first pit cycle here. So it'll be interesting to see when these guys decide to duck down pit road. Definitely going to be looking to see them probably start to string out single file on the inside line before they get to a point where they're going to want to be pitting. But definitely, like we said, clean and green so far.
Absolutely. And now we see even up front, things have kind of settled out. They're kind of accordion back and forth. The bottom lane will get a truck length or 2 out, and then we'll see the top lane kind of come and get equal with them. But not really seeing that top lane trying to make any moves to go take the lead right now. It looks like the top lane even is just trying to manage. But one thing we're going to have to watch, Boomer, is we're going to have to see these top guys before lap 20, they're going to have to get down. And we're coming to lap 14, and that bottom lane has definitely got cars stacked up in it. So I know on the bottom they're just biding their time till pit stops. But look for this top lane to either get aggressive and try to get the lead, or look for them to try to find room to drop down here soon.
Yeah, definitely. Probably one of the easiest ways to get to the lead is to take that outside line and be pushed to the front and then drop down typically towards the end of the backstretch in front of the leader. But other than that, it's not always easy to find a hole to get down. As we look down the field on the backstretch, you do see most of the cars are single file here, just kind of chilling out, but we've got maybe 10 cars here in the outside second lane working here so far. Again, highlighting that it is a little bit more narrow, so these guys have a lot more patience tonight versus trying to get to the front of the pack early. Right on board here for a second with JD Crow in the 5. He is our last week's winner, going to look to try and be our first repeat winner. We haven't had anyone do that yet so far this season. Winners being Gary Slapinski, Gabe Butler, Richard Sanchez, Sebastian Marin, and last week JD Crow as well. So it'll be interesting to see who might be able to take home that first second win of the season, or see if we have another new first-time winner for the season tonight.
Absolutely, and we see the one of Gabe Butler make what I would call a surprising move of Sebastian Marin to kind of get in front of him. Maybe they were trying to pull JD just a little bit, but he's going to go ahead and clear down in front of the 23. These teammates, the way they work, it wouldn't shock me if they didn't try to get the 5 and the 78 in line, and maybe even Seth there, since they've been kind of running with him most of the race. But it'd be interesting to see how the 5 and them try to get down as we come to start lap 16 of this run.
Definitely getting close to pit stop time here. But we'll see. It'll be interesting to see, because if we do end up having any yellows like we have had last couple weeks, like you've mentioned, it might be interesting. You may actually be able to push fuel all the way to the end. If you could do 3 21, 22 lap stints, saving, shutting the truck off on a couple laps under caution, that would make a huge difference to maybe go all the way. So it'd be interesting to see if everyone's going to try that, or if people are just going to try and take a splash of fuel towards the end. We did see one race where I believe it was actually the first race, Gary Slapinski was able to stay out and take a splash of fuel, just a little bit of splash of fuel, and win the race almost by himself. Him, Keith Horner Jr., and I think Kyle Heath were the only 3 that were way ahead of the pack, stayed out the latest, and managed to pit for, maybe a lap or 2 worth of fuel with like 3 or 4 to go, and came out ahead of everyone else in the pit cycle and locked nose to tail, and were able to, to make it to the end. So it'll be interesting to see if anyone's going to try to do that. If you do run 20 laps, I guess you're really going to have like a 15 lap race to the finish. So it'll be interesting to see what's going to happen as far as that fuel strategy.
Absolutely. And, I'm looking for some of these guys. You would think, why would anybody want to save fuel if you know that no matter what, we have 3 stops to make? Well, if you can save some fuel this stop, the next stop, and for the last one, you're going to save so much fuel that when it comes down to the end, you can pit within your window, and you'll have the minimum amount of fuel you have to put in to top it off, and you can run the rest of the stint out and not have to pit no more. And that's going to be the difference in how much time you make up. You're going to spend maybe, 8 to 9 seconds on pit road instead of the 12 to 13 filling the full tank up. That'll be huge.
Definitely see these guys getting ready, as you see a bunch of the Team Butanaka Esports guys jumping down in line to maybe you have some teammates there. Look at the 071 of Eric Laurie, might have let them in. Leaves a couple guys here on the outside high and dry, one of them being the 37 of Keith Horner Jr. So it'll be interesting to see, just Keith Horner, not Jr., but a couple guys there strung out on the outside, the 031 there as well of Tom Dixon. So definitely getting close to those pit strategies.
Absolutely, and isn't it amazing how we go 2 by 2 and see them all racing up front, and then within a lap they're all single file ready to come down? That just shows how much the whole field is just working together to get through this first pit stop. So I don't think I've seen a race yet this season where they got this organized for a green flag pit stop, but within the next lap or 2, we're on lap 19 coming to lap 20. Wouldn't shock me to see a lot of takers this time.
Definitely looking to see here as the fuel is going to try and potentially come down pit road this time, or maybe wait a couple laps, but we'll take a look here. And we do see the 0-2 looks like is going to make it. Going to be the first one on pit road of Seth Gruber. Try and see if we can grab him real quick as they head down pit road. Bud Steele, Kyle Heath, Jason Adams, Bob Fitzgerald, and Diego Vasquez all in this time as well. So these guys are all going to get service this time. Again, working on 19 laps completed, working on lap number 20.
And as they're coming down pit road, we actually have a yellow on the track as they were coming down. So this is going to be a huge strategy changer between the guys that stayed out here and the guys that came down pit road. If they got down pit road before the track went yellow, they're going to cycle to be your leaders. And people like Gabe Butler and all these guys that have dominated the race, they're going to be back mid-pack.
Yeah, this is interesting so far. Definitely, maybe a little bit unfortunate for the guys who have pitted so far. Not going to get a chance to rejoin the field at the front of the field, but we can definitely see these guys under pace laps now. Let's see if we can try and take you back to what happened. Looked like we first saw Taylor Toller go off track, so we're going to take a look at that. Oh, yeah, looks like, unfortunately, the 20 of Derek Walker and the 18 getting together. The 33 getting into that. The 32 of BK Anderson collected some damage. Oh, the 7 piling in hard. Dale Willoughby absolutely going to have to take his first fast repair here tonight. So unfortunate to see. Let's see if we could take it back with another view here just before it started to happen. See if we can ride on board. See if we can find the talent to be able to do that.
And as you're doing that, it just, to me, it almost, I've seen this before where guys will come down pit road and so many duck out and so many stay out. It makes me wonder if someone got confused on what was going on here and they just went to make a move, or maybe got hit there, it looks like. Maybe got turned up just a little bit, but definitely when you go to make these green flag pit stops, a lot of confusion can be seen throughout the field.
Yeah, so we'll take a look here. The 18 to the outside, that's James Mogan. And we just see maybe a little bit of confusion as far as who's going to be coming down pit road or not. And the 20, it looks like the 18 just kind of gets a little loose. Oh, maybe a little bit of net code. So the 18 coming down a little bit there, unfortunately. And the contact that was made looked like net code. The 20 you can see getting absolutely destroyed here. The 955, I believe that's Andy Brigante as well. Yep, getting turned. The 18, the 33. See a little bit of side swipe here as we ride along BK Anderson there. So most of these guys probably going to have to take their first fast repair, but we'll jump back live here to the leaders who are taking their pit stops now. We're going to see being led down pit road by the one truck of Gabe Butler.
And if I'm the leaders, and I just heard over the radio, the one is actually out of gas right now. That's how tight it was. He is coasting to his pit stall. Luckily, going to make it in a-okay without losing too much time. But in my opinion, if you've used that full tank of fuel up and it's under yellow, you're going to be mid-pack. Go ahead and take 4 tires now, and not have to worry about taking tires maybe the rest of the race when some others may have to toward the end.
Yeah, definitely. Now would be the opportunity, I would think, to take 4 tires, because you're not going to want to take them under green flag pit stops if you don't have to. But as soon as we say that, it looks like a majority of our field is going to only be taking 9-second pit stops. So probably probably just fuel there, honestly. Probably not even 2 tires to worry about. So the first one who may have taken fuel, looking at Mark Mann with a 12.8-second pit stop. Sebastian Marin, Randy Miner, and J.D. Crow also over 14 seconds. So likely taking 4 tires there, but drop them back down the running order as we see. So it is interesting. We are going to actually have some of the guys that came down at lap 18 stay out. So this is the opportunity for some of these TW Motorsports guys to go to the front of the pack. A little bit of a strategy here, but maybe they can get a chance to, not just ride around, but actually control this race like the Team Butanaka Esports guys have been trying to do so far.
Absolutely. And, we've got Dean Wilkinson leading the field now after this crazy pit road jumble. And, I don't see it much in Area 51. He seems to be pretty conservative, but in another league, I've seen Dean get up front in trucks just like this. And let me tell you, the last race I watched Dean Wilkinson run in a truck at Daytona, he won. Once he gets up front, he's really good about controlling that lead and controlling the lines and keeping pushers behind him. And he's definitely got teammates that'll be right here around him to help. But one more thing I wanted to point out, if you didn't mind, Boomer, is looking back at that incident, we thought it was netcode a little bit. I don't know, after watching that second replay you showed, I don't know that it wasn't that the 18 might have thought that the 20 had came down pit road, as so many people were peeling off, and he was just trying to come down to that inside line and get in line, and then realized the 20 was still there, and when he went to overcorrect, started all that incident.
Yeah, let's see. Try and do this quickly here as we're about to come back to green flag. Try and see if we can ride it on the front of the 18 truck here real quick. Quarter speed. Starting to come down a little bit. we'll pause it there. Does look like it is pretty close. See if we can get a better view.
You see him trying to turn to the right once he realizes the 20's not coming down pit road.
Yeah, might have thought that the not quite getting a ton of great. Let's see if we can go maybe the spotter view. All right, let's zoom it, rewind it back a little bit. We'll go quarter speed here. Yeah, the 20's just kind of minding his P's and Q's, and the 18 kind of trying to.
You see him turn down there to go to the bottom,
See,
realizes
like,
he's there, turns to the right.
I feel like that contact still, I'm not debating that the 18 came down, but I think the initial contact was in some net code there. You could definitely see a gap before they actually made contact, but
absolutely.
Definitely 18 coming down a little bit there, unfortunately, but we are going to jump back live here as we should be getting ready to go green. We see the 55 of Dean Wilkinson will be taking the green flag to restart on lap number 24 of the race.
And the 45 just did not get going. Don't know if there was miscommunication there with the teammates on the start, but he gets a heck of a bump.
23 gets pushed out of line. A couple cars out of line here.
Oh, we got some major stuff going on in the back. Maybe they're all going to save it. Looks so as they come out of turn 2. We've got racing up front, but we got division in the back. Look for the first time this race for us to separate into 2 big packs.
Yeah, it looked like the 23 and the 70 here of Robert Jordan focusing on now both had an opportunity to kind of get flushed out of the line and push down onto the apron there. So interesting to see for sure. But it seems like we are fairly quiet here, back to green flag racing now that is out of the way.
Absolutely. Here they are coming to the tri-oval. The 55 is going to lead this lap. And like I said, we've already got some guys recovering. The 78 and the 1 already working their way back to the top 5 with the restart and the way everything shook out. But we definitely got plenty of TW Motorsports guys now cycled to the front. And guys that were leading, Sebastian Marin going 3 wide back there with JD Crow. He's going to try to make that third lane work to get back to the front.
It'll be interesting to see because we definitely saw Seth Groover jump out to that outside lane as well. Now he's third in line, but the 23 and the 5 in the 02 are coming, and they're also bringing BK Anderson in the 32 along with them. As man, it gets a little bit tight here. Some guys in the middle lane just not necessarily giving a ton of space to this outside lane. It's going to get a little bit tight and definitely dicey for these guys who are trying to get back. As we see the 55 is going to jump up on the outside line to block the 23 here. Probably going to maybe jump him up just a little bit. Vicente Guerrero also jumping out to the outside lane here now as we see the TW guys working the first 2 cars in the inside lanes. No, I take that back. Now the 23 is going to actually get clear, and the 14 are now the first 2 cars in that outside lane. So breaking up the TW party is some of those Team Bootknocker guys, as we see a couple of the TW guys, and one of them, and Gabe Butler also moving to the back. So 55 says, nope, I'm done. I want to get out of here, and so does the 1 of Gabe Butler. So we'll jump back to our leaders here. Man, the 5 of JD Crow, our last week's winner, just kind of get shuffled to the outside and trying to look for a hole to come back in.
Absolutely. So a couple things to point out on what we just saw there, Boomer. Don't know that I agree with the move the 45 made. He almost caused a major incident moving up in front of the momentum of that 23. It was just too great to try to block. And when the 23 checked up, it caused checking up throughout that middle and outside lane. But something else to note, what did I say earlier? If you can get 2 to 3 good trucks in that third lane, you can go from the right at the back all the way to the front quickly. And we saw that happen right before us here mid-race, right? So guys took note of that. They saw that outside lane with the major speed it had. And as long as you got 2 or 3 guys, the leader gets turned.
Wow. Wow. Oh, wow. This is going to cause a lot of guys to take their fast repair early. Man, let's go back to that. Looked like Charles Sanchez was leading the field.
It was 2 guys trying to come down together, and one was not clear when he came down, and it just caused a big ordeal. But guys like Sebastian Marin that just raced their way back up to the front, huge damage. And the guys that went to the back looking pretty smart right now, like the 55 and the 1.
All right, let's see if we can ride with Charles Sanchez here. This was before it. We'll use the camera tools, rewind it a little bit here. We'll go back just a little bit here, pull up the spotter camera, see if we can see So it looks like here at this point, the 37 is clear of the 23. They have room to move down. We'll play it at quarter speed here. Looks like the 37 was still kind of pushing the 509. 37 gets completely clear, and the 509 expects to kind of go with them, and unfortunately the 37 is inside at that time, and the 509 just kind of turns himself off of the nose of the 37, and we see absolute chaos here towards the back of the pack. The 23, the 32, oh man, luckily the 32 did not take his fast repair on that first incident. That's going to be huge. We actually see the 5 of JD Crow was going up and over there, but I see some of these guys in the back starting to check up a little bit. Not quite as much damage for these guys back here, but yeah, definitely unfortunate for the 509. Just thought he was clear and didn't have the space. Unfortunately, 37 was already inside of him, but we'll jump back live here as we've got pit stops going on right now.
And something super important about these pit stops that are going on right now, Boomer, as I calculate the laps, and they're starting lap 29 here, and we're going to have some caution laps. They can still make it on just 2 more stops from here, I believe. So I think we're going to pit, let's see, 29, that'd be 49 and 69. Yeah, it's going to be close. If they saved a little fuel, they could possibly stretch it with another caution to just be in 1 more stop.
Yeah, we'll have to see. It would definitely be tight, but that takes about 10 laps off of the pit cycle here. So gonna be 30 laps here, probably going back to green at lap 31. So you've got the fuel in the truck right now, so you're gonna have to go 45, 44 laps. Which might be a tall task. We obviously saw after the first cycle, a couple guys were able to go 22 laps with that first yellow, but 2 or 3 of those laps were under yellow, and we saw the one actually coasting into his pit box here. So it'd be interesting to see. I would expect them to have to pit one more time, but anyone that's willing to get aggressive with fuel saving might be able to jump back off the pack and not have to pit more than twice, or more than once, I should say.
And if you hang out toward the back of this pack and you, without losing the main pack, and you really just play with the throttle well and manipulate it well, if you stopped here with 1 to go and topped this tank off, I do think between the 2 runs you could save enough fuel, but you would be saving from the green flag till the end of the race if it went green. You would not have any laps, so you could be super aggressive. But it could be the difference in guys making it and not. So, I mean, winning and losing, someone makes 2 stops, even if it's to top off, you got someone only taking 1 stop. I mean, that's a big gamble you could take, but if you're toward the back, I don't know why you wouldn't top off here.
Right, so we got David Overstreet, Mark Mann, Gabe Butler, Dean Wilkinson, Donald Stewart, Robert Rock, Todd Siebels, Diego Vasquez, and BK Anderson, as well as JD Crow, coming in this time presumably to pit once more to try and get a little bit more fuel in the truck. I know we do see Keith Horner and Sebastian Marin are coming down pit road to repair some damage. So these guys expecting that cautions will come again, and they're trying to get as much repaired as possible. So unfortunately here we are going to be going green next time by, so they won't be able to come down pit road this time without a penalty or risk of completely losing the draft. So I think we got about 1 minute and 3 seconds of repairs for Sebastian Marin, and I think Keith Horner also took quite a few repairs as well, so it'll be interesting to see here, but we are lined up. One thing to mention, we do have a little bit of a shakeup towards the front of the pack now. We do have the 02 of Seth Groover kind of out here a little bit by himself. We've got the 18 again of James Moen as well, involved in that first incident that we had tonight. The 031, no, sorry, excuse me, that's the 510 of Richard Sanchez on the inside line in the Whataburger truck with Tom Dixon in the 031 on the outside. So it'll be interesting to see. We do have a few guys that haven't, other than the 02 of Seth Groover, that haven't really been up front here tonight. So we're going to see as we go back green, the 02 of Seth Groover gets a nice jump on the field, but we'll see. Don't want to get out too far, otherwise that pack can kind of freight train you as they catch back up to you.
Absolutely, and I do think he's got too big a gap. But, something to note that you were talking about as we go through 1 and 2 here and start getting formed up. This pack a little bit spread out right now as the 18 is going to go to the bottom where the 02 had too big of a gap. We have the 18 up front going for the lead. We have the 7 up here in the top 5, top 6. These are guys that got demolished in that first wreck, and here they are leading just a handful of laps later. So 18 is going to lead them down into turn 3. Seth Groover running that outside lane, not with a bunch of help, and it looks like every man for himself up here. I see a bunch of teammates that are all kind of separated, so look for this to be a crapshoot for a little bit as the 510 heads down pit road. Maybe a penalty.
Oh, that's unfortunate if that is a penalty. That is big implications there. We do actually have 4 trucks on pit road right now. Richard Sanchez, Randy Minor, Jay Hillard, and David Overstreet as well. So maybe getting a penalty from trying to pit when we were 1 to green. You cannot do that. You can't pit as the field comes to the 1 to green. So you will get a 40-second stop and hold, I believe. So some of those guys probably having to take a penalty. Although Richard Sanchez only 6.23 seconds pit stop. So maybe he was just topping off for fuel. I'm not sure, but definitely maybe an error there for the 510. Definitely going to put him well off the pace as we do see Randy Minor, David Overstreet, and Jay Hillard all taking a 40-second stop and hold penalty, unfortunately.
Ouch, that is killer under green flag conditions. And some of it could have even been passing under yellow, if you think about it. If guys had damaged trucks and they didn't catch up, they could have definitely got penalty there. So the outside lane having a big check up there for something. Someone may have moved up or cut somebody off. We see the 7 dicing down to the bottom. Got a little bit of movement up here in this front pack. But like you said, different players up here right now. And to go back on that 510, if he did pit just to get some fuel as a strategy, I don't know how that's going to work when he's all by his lonesome and these guys are running the draft. I don't think you're going to be able to save the fuel you need pitting like that by yourself, so especially with the time loss.
Yeah, so I guess so he did pit on, was it lap 31 there, so that does give him an advantage over everyone else going to the end. He's got about 3 more laps of fuel than anyone else in the field does. Though, like you said, very aggressive. You're not going to be able to save enough, especially not by yourself, to be able to go all the way to the end, though. Pitting at lap 32 by itself and being in the pack, I think would, lock you into 1 stop for the rest of the race. It'd be tight, but it would be 1 stop.
Absolutely, and as we look through this pack, remember my thought of if you're in the back, just hang out and save as much fuel as possible. Think of our first run of the race, and now look at how many trucks are just single file on the bottom with plenty of distance. They're mooching that draft, letting it pull them down the backstretch. A lot of guys back there, some major players, are saving fuel. We know these guys up front, the top 8, top 10, they're not going to be able to make it. It's going to be a stretch. They're going to have to top off probably with just a handful of laps to go. But these guys in the back, man, they're not trying to pass. They're just riding. They're letting the draft pull them. I think that's a heck of a strategy right now. And I do think if you start right here at the drop of the green like these guys are, and you do it both runs, you just might have enough to at least get you to the checkered flag.
Yeah, if not trying to actively save fuel, because again, they do have a lot to make up. Maybe just trying to stay out of the chaos that has been the front few rows here for a minute. So it'll be interesting to see, but we do have Eric Laurie now leading the inside lane with Derek Walker fresh off his fast repair in the second spot on the inside line. Seth Groover leading the outside line with James Moen pushing him as well. So interesting how it works out. The 18 and the 20 side by side after that earlier contact when the 18 kind of came down on the 20. So interesting to see if, I would assume that there's not a lot of frustration there, but maybe a little bit. So maybe something to keep an eye on and see if they do bounce off each other again. I'm sure there's definitely going to be some hurt feelings after that incident. But we do stay green so far. We're working lap number 36, now about 6 laps after our second yellow of the night. Looking to see if we can go green the rest of the way here.
Absolutely, and one thing I'm taking note of back here, starting with 23rd position, BK Anderson in 32. We got big names back here just trying to survive and maybe get another caution where they can fix that damage and be able to race at the end of this. We've got BK Anderson in 23rd, JD Crow there in 24th, Sebastian Marin 25th. We got some fast guys in this pack of 3 that are just losing, it looks to me, almost a second a lap.
Yeah, so the
trucks are still damaged. So
last time by, the leaders were running 48.6s, 48.7s, a couple of 48.5s. This group here, again, 12 seconds behind the leader, ran a 49.5, so over a second slower than the rest of the pack. Definitely not ideal for them. A couple of these guys, I think, are actually a lap down, but yeah, definitely some big names. Obviously, BK, one of the guys we usually see moving towards the front. The 5, or last week's winner in the 23 as well. So these guys are, again, 12 seconds behind the leaders. We do have another pack here of Diego Vasquez and Keith Horner, who are 40 seconds behind the field and about 2 to 3 seconds off the pace. Yeah, 3 seconds. So Eric Laurie ran a 48.48 last lap. These guys are running 51.42s. So definitely did not elect to take their fast repairs and trying to maybe hope for another caution to repair some of their damage. So definitely looking to see them go a lap down here within the next, probably before the end of the pit cycle, I would assume.
And if they go a lap down here, even if they get the lucky dog, I'm not saying they can't recover. I've seen it plenty of times, but it's going to be extremely difficult. And what I'm thinking of, and I'm not just picking on Team Bootknocker, but I'm thinking of the points position that Sebastian Marin is in. He's missed 2 races, so one of his drop weeks is going to be a dead last, like didn't even count.
0 points. Yeah.
0 points, so doesn't really help a bunch. And he's got a race like this. He needed 3 solid races just to have an attempt to get into the playoffs. This could take him completely out of those talks with only 2 races to go after this. So, and he's last season's champion, Boomer. So that's why that's such major implications here going on.
Yeah, definitely. One of the best racers we have. I mean, obviously there's a lot of really good guys in the field week in, week out, but like you said, our season champion from last season, I should say, definitely going to be unfortunate if he can't recover, because I don't think, I'm pretty sure we just go by the straight up point standings to get into the chase, there would be, an unfortunate circumstance if the 23 does have to drop, or isn't able to drop another week like this and not being able to finish up at the front. But we will see. We are just over halfway here. So we do see now the 37 of Keith Horner and Diego Vasquez in the 80 are going to drop. Well, one of them is going to drop to the apron. One of them is going to hopefully maybe drop to the outside or be on the outside, but 2 wide. This is going to be a little bit sketchy here. The 80 electing to stay on the outside, typically out of respect. You see the 37 of Keith Horner there. Oh, Keith Horner getting loose as he tries to rejoin. He gathers it up. Wow, on the apron there. Oh, we do have another one spinning though. Seth Groover.
Wow, fast driver taken out there. I didn't even see what happened there.
Oh my gosh, let's see if we can catch that real quick, because this is actually. We're still green. See if we can catch what happened here. We'll rewind because I have no other way to look at this. But looks like potentially a big push just from the 071 of Eric Laurie. 02, maybe some compatibility issues. The 071 looks like a Silverado pushing that Toyota Tundra. Oh, yeah, the 071 kind of got low on exit of the corner and really just swiped across the back of the deck lid of the 02. Oh, that is heartbreak for Seth here tonight. A big impact. Hopefully he's okay after that big impact.
You cannot push on the quarter panels of these vehicles. They are already on edge as is, and these trucks like to lift the rear ends up when you go to push, where it feels like your rear tires aren't even touching the pavement. I know that enough from last season. So you definitely can't make those moves. When you wiggle like that, you have to back off that throttle just a hair to let that guy get back in front of you or to get yourself back in position. But being up front, trying to push hard. And, Eric Laurie, we've seen him lead a little bit, but we haven't seen him be a big pusher this season as far as being one of the top, 2 guys in line pushing a lot. So maybe just a little bit of inexperience on that, or maybe just a bad moment there. I don't know if he clipped that apron to get a little loose or what, but definitely took him out and now has the 18 leading this pack.
Yeah, definitely unfortunate for sure. You kind of saw the 071 kind of swiping across the back of the 02. Would assume that most of that is where some of the contact was made enough to get the 02 loose, but unfortunately, we also, we saw the 18 get loose, have a bit of a wiggle and hit the 20 earlier in the race, and the 509 of Charles Sanchez also thinking that he was clear in front of the 37, clearing himself and causing a wreck there too. So definitely a lot of contact. Maybe little mistakes, not a lot of big mistakes here so far, but unfortunately that's going to end Seth Groover's night tonight. We do also look, going through the running order, it does also look like Tom Dixon and Charles Sanchez have also retired as well. We do have David Overstreet, our last car running, currently about a lap and a half behind the pack, running by himself. So we only have 30 cars now on the field. We do actually see the 23 of Sebastian Marin and JD Crow. They were some of those guys in the back of the pack that were running slow, and you see, thankfully, they were able to duck down to the apron and very kindly get out of the way. Like we saw the same thing with the 37 before he got loose, trying to come back up on the track into turn number 3 there before the wreck we saw with Seth Groover in the 02.
Absolutely. So our first yellow, we saw the 18 and the 20 get tangled up. Now, coming to lap 45, we see the 18 and the 20 battling for the lead. And I bring that up because of our, chat that we had earlier. We're rooting for Team Walker, right? Well, here he is, getting ready to lead some laps in Area 51 Thursday night trucks. Oh, he's not clear yet, but he's just trying to side draft really hard on the 18. It's not going to work, going to lose a little momentum. The 78's pushing the 18 really strong, but got some trucks lined up in that outside. Might be able to make some moves here.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. It looks like not a ton of organization. There's really not a lot of teammates up here at the front of the pack, so little bit, maybe a little bit disorganized, unfortunately. But trying to make something happen. We do come back to 2 wide, about 8 rows deep or so here. So a little less chaotic now, but there's not as much allegiance here when there aren't many teammates together running together at the front, so makes it difficult. A lot of guys, this was one thing that we saw in early races where everyone just wanted to lead, everyone just wanted to get out of line, jump out of line, make the move, and be aggressive. But unfortunately, no one would go with anyone, and it just kind of jumbled up the pack. So we'll see here. I would expect to see. You kind of see them snaking up and down the backstretch here, but it'll be interesting to see if these guys do end up getting too aggressive, and we see some yellows just from cars not used to guys not used to being around each other or up at the front of the pack.
Absolutely, and as it kind of gets quieter at the front, I'll say just a couple guys here 2x2 and everybody else single file. It brings up that reminder. Pit road will be coming here soon. Who has saved enough fuel to stretch it, and who is going to have to make 2 more stops? That's going to be something we really have to look at as we get deeper into this race. And Boomer, I'm not 100% positive with all the yellows. Do you know about how far we are away from green flag pit stops?
1 lap or so. So most of these guys pitted on lap number 28 with the first lap of our last yellow. So this would be lap number 19 in the field window. So we're close. Either this time by, next time, or after that. So we're probably going to see, we do see a couple guys jump here. Looks like Jason Adams is going to jump down to pit road. A couple others here going to bring Bud Steele and Kyle Heath. Kyle Heath and Bud Steele teammates coming down here to get service. And just 3 of them so far, but we'll probably look to see most of the rest of the field try and come down this time by, as we do still see Derek Walker, Vicente Guerrero, and was it the 40 or the 55, I think, of trying to remember who's in the Whataburger truck, but those guys are all on the outside line currently, trying to get down eventually to be able to make their pit stop. So yes, that's the 510. Sorry, that's the 510 of Richard Sanchez there up in the outside lane. He is actually currently 1 lap down, so he is trying to win the battle for the lucky dog, which will be interesting here to see. We do actually see a couple other guys trying to get their laps back, but we'll jump to... Sorry, jumping all over the place, but we got Dean Wilkinson, Donald Stewart, and Robert Rock getting to pit road smoothly. And we'll jump back up to the leaders. So so the 5:10 of Richard Sanchez here is our first car 1 lap down. Then if you see behind him, guys that are making moves are the 23 and the 5. So these guys ran the fastest lap of the race as they were catching back up to this lead draft here. They ran a 46.95 and a 46.94 together, whereas nobody else has run faster than a 47.20. So these guys are absolutely flying, trying to win that lucky dog battle and get up to maybe some of their teammates so that they can pit together. But we'll see. I'm assuming we're going to have a big land grab as guys are going to try and get down to the apron this time. James Moen will lead them to pit road. Looks like everyone gets down okay. Derek Walker, Vicente Guerrero, Andrew Schroeder, Bob Fitzgerald all coming this time. And it looks like Diego Vasquez also down on pit road as well. So, go ahead.
Something to focus on here, Boomer. I've got my eye on one particular driver because I know how he is in his straights, and I know how those cautions played out. The one truck of Gabe Butler still staying out and still staying in the pack and still giving room, letting that draft pull him.
Right.
I think he's going to try to make it on one stop if at all possible.
Yeah,
I think
we'll
he needs
see.
to run another couple laps to make it work, but I think he could do it.
Yeah, if not, I think you'll probably see most of the Team Bootnaka guys coming this time, and yep, they're all going to come down pit road this time. So other than the 23 of, okay, interesting. So the 23 of Sebastian Marin and the 5 of JD Crow have pitted sooner than these guys did under that last caution. So it'll be interesting to see what strategy those guys are trying to pull, but we do see most of the rest of the field coming down. Most of the Bootnaka Esports guys, Gary Slapinski and Eric Laurie. We do also have Mark Mann, Gabe Butler, Robert Jordan, Andy Brigante, Taylor Toller, Joshua Garthright, Dale Willoughby, and Todd Siebels all on pit road, as well as Richard Sanchez this time. So we're going to jump back up to Gary Slapinski is actually currently shown as the race leader. A little bit of trouble for him as he is trying to get off of pit road, a little bit of a wiggle. He's going to be completely by himself, though he is scored as the race leader right now. So it'll be interesting to see. He's actually slowing down, it looks like, a little bit to try and see if this other pack can catch him potentially and not have to freight train him. But oh shoot, the 78 is down and off into the grass. Man, a little bit of trouble for Gary Slapinski. Not sure what's going on here. Maybe some equipment issues or malfunctions, but he definitely looked slow. So it'll be interesting to see what happened there.
I think he had a problem on that pit stop for how quick he pulled away. I've seen it before with Gary where he's went in to do a pit stop and his settings not be correct and it not do anything on the pit stop, almost like an iRacing glitch where it won't fuel and it won't put tires on. And as quick as he took away and he got really loose when he pulled out of pit road, I don't know that something didn't happen where maybe it sputtered and ran out of fuel.
Yeah, it would definitely assume so, or looked like it would be that case. So unfortunate for him there, a little bit of an error on the pit stop, but we are going to jump back up to the front of this pack. A couple of the TW Motorsports guys have made their way to the front. We see Robert Rock, a new name up at the front of this pack, as well as Dean Wilkinson back up front as well now. Sandwiched in between will be Donald Stewart on that inside line. The 18 still leads the outside line, being pushed now by Andy Brigante. So a couple new faces, a little bit of a shakeup. Dale Willoughby still here in the top 10 as well. Taylor Toller, Eric Laurie, Gabe Butler, and Joshua Gathright all rounding out your top 10 after the third set of pit stops. Oh, this looks like... Okay, sorry, something popping up on SDK here. Looks like Gary Slapinski has technically crashed, but I assume that means that he came to a stop and is probably going to have to take a tow back to the pits without any fuel. Let's see if we can jump on him real quick and see where he's at.
I saw him whenever you were watching the pack. He was just coasting just like he is now. Just he's trying to coast around. I don't know that it's even worth staying in it at this point, as many laps down as he'll go. But, man, what an unfortunate event. Ran with him Monday night, and he was running top 3 at Martinsville to get wrecked out late and not get the finish he deserved. And tonight, been running up front all night long, and for a second race in a row, just not going to get the finish that he quite deserves.
Yeah, unfortunately. I don't know if anyone caught that there, but if you blinked, you missed it. But we did pass him. Now he has jumped to the pits. So definitely advantageous to try and make it all the way back around to the pits because the tow is so ridiculously long no matter where you are on the track because it assumes that you'd have to be picked up for by a wrecker to bring you back to the pits. So unfortunately, there are probably going to be a couple minutes for him before he gets back and is able to get service properly done on that vehicle. So ooh, little wiggle from the 97, pushing the 171 there down the back straightaway. Definitely maybe a little bit more Ford and Chevy incompatibility issues, but we do see most of this front pack here now looking like the top 19 cars are now lined up pretty much nose to tail, 2 lanes wide. Another interesting thing to see, we do actually have J.D. Crow and Sebastian Marin currently being scored on the lead lap, so they pit at lap 42. So they're going to have to go probably to lap 62, so within about 13 laps to go before they need to pit. So because they're kind of off fuel on strategy, they currently are scored on the lead lap. Like we said, they may actually have a chance to get back on the lead lap if they do have a fortunate caution here. So teammates working together to try and help each other, maybe stay on a different fuel strategy than anyone else, and maybe get a chance to take a one more. Everyone pretty much should be on one more stop to the end, but a different approach for these guys here. So it'll be interesting to see where they cycle out towards the end of this race. But they're other than them, we do have another there's more guys here in this pack, but this pack is 23 seconds behind the leader, led by BK Anderson. We also have Vicente Guerrero in this pack, the 37 of Keith Horner, which is who is actually a lap behind these guys in this pack. And it also looks like I see the 59 of Jay Hillard and maybe the 101, I believe, of Randy Miner in this group here too. So these guys, or no, maybe that's the 45 of Todd Siebel's, not entirely sure. No, it is Randy Miner. So, yep, so this pack of 5 currently, one second here, this pack is currently 24 seconds behind the lead pack. And again, the Sebastian Marin and JD Crow group is only 14 seconds. So we'll jump back as we will see the 18 of James Moen currently leading the pack on the outside lane, and we do see a little squirreliness from the 97 of Donald Stewart on that inside line.
Got to be careful going down on that apron there, Boomer. And you see the 97's kind of wiggling. He's kind of all over the place, like he's not comfortable being up front there. But we definitely see that these guys are racing down the backstretch here. And the 18's going to just barely clear the 171. That's going to check up that inside line just a little. And look who's starting to make his way back to the front. We see the 55 there of Dean Wilkinson. Telling you, he's a smart racer. He's got a fast truck. He knows how to get up front at the end of these. He's got another TW Motorsports driver there in second that he's trying to get up there with. And he's got Dale Willoughby, who's had a little bit of trouble tonight, but running strong here toward the end, right there behind him. So I like the spot that Dean Wilkinson's in. But, the 23 and the 5 back there, one heck of a catch-up for them to be trying to getting back on the lead lap, I assume, and just trying to make their way back to this lead pack. I think whenever they were starting to lose time, I don't know when we saw them on the apron earlier, Boomer, that they had not pitted and got those fast repairs since they were losing so much time, and just try to work together to make up that time.
Right.
So,
yeah, just kind of changing when they're going to be making their last 2 pit stops versus the field. So took their second to last pit stop early, which will help them open up to the fuel window.
Speaking of pit stops, here comes some.
Yeah. We do actually have a couple here as the window for the end of the race is opening. Currently 17 laps to go, but Gabe Butler, Dale Willoughby, Eric Laurie, Bud Steele, and Mark Mann all on pit road. So these guys are going to be working together for the rest of the race as they're going to try and overcut or undercut, I should say, actually, the field now that the pit window has opened. So it'll be interesting to see how everyone else responds. We're going to jump back up to our leaders here now. Andy Brigante in the 955 still leading the inside lane, and it looks like, so this is actually Richard Sanchez, the 510 in the outside lane again, still 1 lap down, but battling within this lead pack. So he is going to try and get his lap back naturally without need of the lucky dog, as we do see more guys are going to be coming down. The 95 of Andy Brigante leading the charge with the 171 of Robert Rock all getting into their pit stops. Couple lockups towards the back, maybe for Bob Fitzgerald. Looked like a little bit of lockup, but everyone gets on pit road okay. So again, Andy Brigante, Joshua Gathright, Donald Stewart, Robert Rock, Andrew Schroeder, Bob Fitzgerald, Todd Siebels, and Dean Wilkinson all electing to take their final pit stop now with 16 laps to go as we cross the stripe. we're going to see these guys rejoin the pack, but we'll jump back up to the lead pack now, which does actually include the 54 of Kyle Heath, the 70 of Robert Jordan, and the 24 of Jason Adams. So Kyle and Jason in that outside line, and they just picked up the 78 and the 69 trucks, who are currently scored one lap down, I believe, after taking their final, no, not their final pit stop, but one lap down after some of the incidents we've had earlier. But it'll be interesting to see if anyone tries to stretch this as far as they can, because they definitely still have some more time to take this to the end, probably another 2 or 3 more laps, but I'll have to see if the undercut worked from Gabe Butler and Dale Willoughby, who are currently being scored in 11th and 12th. So it'll be interesting to see if that works out for them or not.
That's the group I am watching, Boomer, because you've got to think that was the last group almost to come down pit road and get fuel, and they were the first ones to jump on. What's that mean? They had to take less fuel than everybody else to make it to the end. What a strategy that is. That means less time on pit road. That means more time up to speed on track. And 1 to 2 seconds on pit road could be 4 to 5 on the racetrack. So super good strategy they pulled off there. They had just enough drivers to have 5 that if they all stuck together, they were able to run and make good speed. And I think once everybody else pits, they're going to be your leaders and everybody's going to be chasing them down. But for now, we've still got all kinds of different strategies going on. And Boomer, guess what? One caution changes all of this.
Oh, absolutely. Definitely going to see if these guys can play it easy towards the end. Obviously got a bunch of different strategies now. So interesting to note, like you said, these guys at the front of the pack, because they are staying out later, they will be able to put less fuel in the trucks, which again allows them to spend less time on pit road, which gets them further ahead of everyone else on the track. So it'll be interesting to see where these guys end up coming out. Obviously the 70 on the inside line and the 54 battling for the lead again, with the 510 currently being the last car on the lead lap. So some of these guys are going to be interested to see. The 70 is going to get wrecked here. Oh, we are not going to have a caution. They're going to keep rolling, but wow, that pretty much is going to screw up, I would think, most of this front pack. Maybe not for Kyle Heath or Jason Adams, some of the guys at the front of it, but man, that definitely slowed that pack down, and I think that any advantage that they had just about goes out the window there, unfortunately.
Absolutely, and that's where I talked about that apron here tonight. If you clip it, it is so dangerous. And I'm going to be honest with you, when I was watching practice and just watching from a good aerial view on how some of these trucks reacted in a pack, that 70 had flirted with that apron in practice and had a similar incident there. So good job that he was able to save it, but man, got some damage to that truck and everything else. It's pretty well took him, I think, out of contention for this win if we stay green. And something else we need to note, Gary Klipinski went down multiple laps trying to coast around to get to his pit stall to get fuel. He has nothing else to do but help somebody now win the race. So I don't see him making all those laps up, but he's got teammates out here, and once they cycle to the front, his goal is going to be to race up to them and just be a devoted pusher, which can be a huge asset to that Team Bootknocker esports guys.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see where he cycles out, because he still needs to make his final pit stop. So would probably expect him to stay with this pack here, as it looks like they are all going to head down pit road this time by. So we see them just about, 33, getting on pit road okay there. So Kyle Heath, James Mullen, Derek Walker, Taylor Toller, Jason Adams, and Robert Jordan all electing to take their last stop now. So we will jump back now and watch the guys who will potentially pick up the race lead. This will be Gabe Butler in the one truck. We'll see where they come out and how close they are to this pack that just pitted. So we'll see. Looks like Derek Walker and James Mullen will be the first two off of pit road. Remember, they have to go all the way down the access road in turn number 1, as we see, the 171. That's the 70 of Robert Jordan.
And we've got a yellow.
Crash. Wow, that caused a yellow. Wow, what? Oh my gosh, this is crazy. So that just froze the field. These guys, Gabe Butler, who was going to drive through that pack and absolutely get ahead of them, just absolutely wiped that out. We saw the 70 of Robert Jordan absolutely losing it on the exit of pit road. Let's see if we can jump back to that. As he right on the nose, he just gets loose. Cold tires. It's very easy to do. I will say I've done it myself and just loops it around. But because of the spot that happened on the track, apparently that was enough to throw a yellow. So definitely unfortunate here. Not something that Robert Jordan was probably hoping to have. Maybe that helps him a little bit that it did throw a yellow, at least for him. But you hate to, you know, obviously it's implications for the rest of the field that yellow had been thrown, so you hate to be the one that causes that, but maybe an advantage for him to stay out, and looks like he's going to be able to stay on the lead lap because of that.
I'm really surprised that iRacing did throw the yellow as far down as he was. The only
Yeah,
thing I
me
can
too.
think of with that being pit exit, maybe they're thinking that's where vehicles are currently at. And so maybe that has something to do with it. I'm not the smartest where it comes to where iRacing throws them and doesn't. But what did we say earlier? One caution changes everything. And the guys that were coming off pit road, their goose was cooked, man. I don't think they were going to have enough momentum to be able to
Absolutely
catch that
not,
lead
no.
pack. And let me tell you, they went from going to be losing 10 plus spots to being ahead of those guys on track that were coming after them.
Yeah,
So
so,
this 20 car,
yep.
we've got a lot of people in chat, fan club. Hey, he's leading with coming to less than 10 to go. Man, maybe he can pull it off and get an Area 51 win here tonight for the fans.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see here. So we'll go through your top 10 here. Oh, it does look like some of these guys are electing to pit, actually. Derek Walker now coming
Wow.
down pit road. Interesting. Did not expect that. Maybe he didn't get enough fuel in the truck for the end of the race, and smartly electing to pit now versus having to pit later. So maybe unfortunate for here. So okay, so we'll pick up what should be your top 10 now. So the 18 of James Moen, followed by Kyle Heath, Taylor Toller, Jason Adams, and now Gabe Butler will be in the 5th position, looks like, for this restart. We will also have Dale Willoughby, Mark Mann, Eric Laurie, Bud Steele, and Joshua Gathright filling out your top 10 as it sits right now. Andy Brigante, Dean Wilkinson, Todd Siebel, Andrew Schroeder, and Robert Rock, your top 5. Robert Jordan bringing out our latest caution in 16th. Fortunate for him to stay on the lead lap. Bob Fitzgerald, Donald Stewart, JD Crow actually getting back on the lead lap, and now the rest of the guys on the lead lap that just elected to pit being Derek Walker, Richard Sanchez, BK Anderson, and Vicente Guerrero. And it looks like Jay Hillard is going to be our lucky dog this time by. So unfortunate for Sebastian Marin. It looked like he actually had to take a penalty during that green flag pit stop that he had with JD Crow. So he would have been able to get back up with the teammate of the 5 in 19th position had that not happened, but unfortunately a mistake after getting caught up in some bad luck. Sebastian Marin is trapped 1 lap down. The good news, he is one of 3 cars 1 lap down, and he is currently the first 1 lap down, but he's going to need at least 1 more caution to get back on the lead lap.
Absolutely. And sometimes when you have a bad day, it just gets worse because when you're in the back trying to make up time, you're just going to try a little too hard. So unfortunate there, but 1 more caution. He can take, maybe if he gets up front or gets close enough, he could take a wave around or maybe just earn his lap back and be able to race for it here at the end.
All right, so we'll do a little bit of a recap. Obviously, we went through the guys that are on the lead lap all the way through Derek Walker in 19th, JD Crow in 20th, and Richard Sanchez, BK Anderson, Vicente Guerrero rounding up the top 23. So we will have Jay Hillard again, last car on the lead lap. So our 1 lap down guys will be Sebastian Marin, Keith Horner, and Randy Miner. David Overstreet looks like he is 2 laps down, and Gary Slipinski looks like he's still 3 laps down. So guys who have retired so far for tonight include Diego Vasquez sitting P30. Obviously Seth Groover with that unfortunate incident that didn't trigger a caution being taken out. He's in 31st, followed by Tom Dixon and Charles Sanchez. Michael Malm is scored in the 34th position, although he did not start the race. So that is pretty much through the field. that we have here as we're going to look back to the top row, or the front row, I should say. James Moen and Kyle Heath will be restarting this race. Again, it would be interesting to see. Some of these guys aren't necessarily used to leading this pack. Obviously, the 18 has led a few laps tonight, but a lot of these guys getting an opportunity to shine, and we'll see if they can make anything work. We don't have a ton of teammates that I know of, at least up here. I believe, actually, I take it back. Kyle Heath and Jason Adams are actually teammates in the outside row there working together, so that is fortunate for them. I don't believe the 18 and the 33 on the inside row are teammates themselves, so it'll be interesting to see how it's going to play out as we are going to restart here. Green flag in the air with what should be 7 laps to go on the race.
Absolutely, and one thing I'm watching here, Boomer, we saw the 20 come down pit road. I wondered how they got so close to Gabe Butler and them on the strategy. Wonder if they really did a short field trying to take a risk like this. Saw the 18 down on the apron under those pace laps trying to save a lot of fuel. Will they have enough? I know the 1 will, and the 7 and some of those guys behind them, but will the 54, the 24, the 33, and the 18, will they have enough fuel? We'll find out as they're racing down the backstretch. Teammates Jason Adams and Kyle Heath on the outside trying to make that lane work, but the 18's got cleared for both lanes. He's going to try to control the rest of this race.
And what a recovery we've set already for Dale Willoughby. I mean, this is amazing for him to be third in line in the outside lane after I think it was the first caution that he had to take his fast repair for. So great recovery for him. Couple guys up in the top 10 that, like we said, really haven't been here too much tonight. Taylor Toller has been running in this lead pack with James Moen as well, but a couple good recoveries. We do see Bud Steele in the 6 truck having a good run tonight here towards the end.
We see Gabe Butler clear here.
Yeah, Gabe Butler making moves in the outside lane, going to take those 2 teammates in the 54 and the 24 and take them all the way to the front of the pack. It looks like he's going to try and be our first repeat winner for the season. We're going to come back around with 5 laps to go this time by.
Absolutely. Didn't mean to interrupt, but I know what I see in these late laps. Gabe Butler just had got to clear the 54, pulled up in front, but the 18 and the 33 getting a great run on the bottom. Those 3 trucks with the 057 behind them, they are tight. They're not as tight in the top lane, but the top lane carries momentum. It's an absolute drag race going into turn 1 as we just see the 54 all over the 1. My question these last few laps as these pushes get a lot harder, are these trucks going to be compatible with each other? These are guys that have not pushed this whole time. What happens if they get a bad push and they wreck for the win? We'll have to see what happens here as they race on the backstretch. Gabe Butler looks to be clear as he heads into 3.
Interesting. It looks like the 171 is going to jump out of line there, get back in line right in front of the 5 of JD Crow. We did see it. Look, oh, we got some wreck. We got a wreck in the 55 getting turned around. This is going to be the big one. This is going to be the big one. All right, let's see. We're going to try and decipher some of this real quick here. Let me get some cameras working. So, yeah, yellow flag. Oop, we'll take it to the moment of caution here, the yellow flag. Half speed, see if we can jump through. Oh, look like a big checkup for the 33, and then everyone behind him.
The apron got him.
Okay, let's so we'll ride with, or we'll focus on the 33 here. Try and see if we can pull up the spotter cam and rewind it just a little bit here. See if we can see. Oh yeah.
Looked to me like he clipped that apron there, Boomer.
All right,
had a little push and it was so low.
Quarter speed here. Maybe try and do chopper view any better. All right, so they look like they were jumbling up back in the pack. So we're gonna pause it just for a second here. It looks like some of the TW guys in the back. Looks like the 97, the 55, not really like committed to a line. And they kind of get jumbled up. The 48, yep, the 48. Oh, the 55 getting kind of collected by netcode. Looked like after the 97 and the 48 got together. The 32 of BK Anderson, the 20 of Derek Walker, unfortunate, making contact. The 6 of Bud Steele, who we commented on earlier. The 45 Todd Siebels, 955 of Andy Brigante. The 057 of, I don't remember just yet, but I'll pull up there. Mark Mann. Don't remember all the names just yet, but getting used to it. So looks like these guys in maybe the top 8 or so are okay, but everyone else definitely collecting quite a bit of damage here, and hopefully having some pass repairs to lean back on. But we'll check now. We'll go back live. Looks like we're going to see a lot of these guys coming down pit road. Being now led off by Bud Steele, JD Crow, Donald Stewart. I would assume some of these guys, it looks like JD Crow definitely repairing damage here, unfortunately. But so Donald Stewart, Bud Steele, Vicente Guerrero, Robert Jordan all rolling again with fresh and clean cars. It looks like after their fast repairs, Bob Fitzgerald also rejoining again. So definitely be interesting for sure. So the not too much of a shakeup, as we did see just about everyone come down, or no, not everyone, I apologize, not everyone came down pit road, but your top 12 did elect to stay out here, and they're just on the apron now trying to save fuel. So not too much changed here in the running order. So we're going to take a second here to go for a break under yellow, and we'll be right back for the restart, with which will be a green-white checkered finish.
All right, getting ready to take the restart here on Green White Checker TV. Some things to watch. We saw guys saving fuel, even though the 18 and the 7, some other guys came many laps after Gabe Butler. They didn't take a full tank on pit road, only about 5.5-second pit stops. Did they take enough fuel to make it to the end? No one expected to go into our first attempt at a GWC. And here on Green White Checker TV, we're about to have a Green White Checkered for the Thursday Night Trucks. As the pace car gets ready to pull off, Boomer, we're about to go green, and it's going to be wild.
Definitely exciting for sure here. We're going to see the one of Gabe Butler, who knows his way around Daytona, try and get another win on the season. It'll be exciting to see who's going to take it home. Kyle Heath is working that outside lane. He is being pushed by a teammate in the 24 of Jason Adams, the 18 of James Moen behind Gabe Butler, and a slew of drivers, really not a ton of teammates, as we've already commented on, really together here at the front of this pack. So gonna be an every man for himself game here, as we see people already getting pretty dicey as we get down the back stretch for the what should be coming to the white flag of the race.
We see some guys going to try to work that third lane, and they're getting in the wall a little bit, checking up. Almost caused the yellow, but they saved it. And really, the 54 and the 24, they're going to have to get a huge run. The 18 is going to try to clear. Not going to be. Going to take them 3 wide. That's going to put the 7 and the 071 on the back bumper of their teammate, Gabe Butler.
But 71 push. Yeah. 7 keeps it going straight. Wow. Oh, the 24 on the wall. Oh,
and we
he
took
comes
the
off the
white
wall.
flag. It's going to be
We
to
took
the
the
end
white flag,
here.
so this will run all the way back to the finish line. As the 7 gets loose, he's going to take out a few cars here. Oh, the 071 just barely hanging on. 54 in the lead, 18
Big
on the
crashing in the
outside.
back, too.
Yep, big crash in our mirrors, but we are going to keep locked on to this battle up front as we see the 18 now being pushed by the 33 in the outside lane. The inside lane is the 54 of Kyle Heath and Gabe Butler looking to make a move. Does look like the 057 and the 70 are going to have some momentum down the backstretch here. See if they try to take it 3 wide as we're going to come to the finish here. It's going to be exciting for sure. See if the 1 is going to try and duck out from behind the 54. Quiet so far. Oh, we got another wreck. They're going to wreck behind him, but the 54 staying in line. The 1's going to push him, looks like, to the victory unless the 18 can get there. And a little bit of contact, Oh, side by side. Wow. Did Kyle Heath get that?
So, I don't think Area 51 has a rule about going under the yellow to win. I don't think that's enforced here. Not 100%, but I do believe that Kyle Heath has won this race.
All right, so according to the ticker in the broadcast, we're showing 0.02 of a second. We're also showing an interval of 0.02 of a second for Kyle Heath as well. So looks like he was able to get that win here on the inside lane. Tried to come up and block the 18, maybe made a little bit of contact and almost costing the win. Maybe if he would have stayed in line, it would have been, a little less crazy, but definitely an exciting finish for her. And that for here tonight, going to be a big deal for Kyle to get his first win of the season. So we'll take a moment here in a second. We'll be bringing up our race winners and our podium place drivers. Gonna take a second. Let's see if we can go back to the final moments of this race. I'll see if there's a good way to find it. Maybe just have to. We'll go back to the white flag, maybe, or I apologize. Trying to find a camera real quick. Checkered flag. So okay, we'll use this, and then. So we'll go full speed here as we come back down the backstretch. So we'll try and get it back to the finish. Give you another camera view here from the chopper cam. And let's slow it down. We'll come to the tri-oval here, and we'll slow it down as we get into the tri-oval. So here we see, Kyle Heath coming up, trying to side draft, maybe trying to make a little bit of contact, trying to block up a little bit. So I don't think the 54 is going to have any penalties if that was an insane final set of laps there.
Absolutely. Insane finish. The 54 on the radio after the race, they're all discussing whether that was a legal finish. I don't know that Area 51 has a rule about going under the yellow, but I heard race control saying all good. So the 54 should be declared your winner, but Kyle said he got knocked down there. I don't know if we saw that in the replay or not. I couldn't tell if he turned down or got knocked down. Either way, though, Kyle Heath is your winner tonight. And I'm not positive. He hasn't won a truck race yet this season, right? Is that yet another new winner, or is this a repeat
That is,
winner?
Yep. Kyle Heath that'll be his first win of the season. And I apologize. I believe my audio was cutting out there for a minute, but we were taking you back through that last lap finish, and doesn't think that. As you said, Kyle Heath being forced really underneath the yellow line, and race control is saying it's all good. So we will have a chance here now to bring up our podium placers. So we'll get them in the warm-up room here and start getting some interviews. First will be Gabe Butler in the number 1 truck. So we'll actually pull him up to the broadcast booth now. And Gabe Butler, definitely a crazy finish to the end of this race here. Take us through those final laps and what it took to get that third place finish tonight.
I was trying to push Kyle out as far as I could, and at the end there, see if I could, push him out far enough where I could get around, but that didn't work out, so I didn't think I was going to make it, so I decided, well, I'll just push the heck out of him, see if I get him to win, and I pushed it below the yellow there, hit him a little bit too hard, but he did a great job saving it. So good job on his part.
Absolutely, Gabe. Great racing, man. We saw all kinds of action up here from the booth tonight. One question I have for you there when we went into that green, white, checkered, what was going through your mind? I know when you pitted, you had to have been right on your number to make it to the end. And I know how you guys are. Y'all pit at your earliest convenience to try to get as much fuel as possible and just make it right to the end. Did you have enough for the green, white, checker, did you think? Or did that kind of throw you for a loop when we had that late yellow and I saw everybody down on the bottom saving? Obviously you had enough, but were you nervous about it any or nervous about the guys around you?
I wasn't sure about the guys around me, but I had enough for 2 green, white checkers. So I was good in that regard.
Glad you had enough field to make it to the end, but definitely a big move for you. We almost saw you come to what would have been the lead or inherit the lead. Definitely some unfortunate timing there for that last caution, as it looked like you guys were going to be clearing outright to the lead and kind of got mixed in and jumbled in with some of those other drivers as that caution came at an inopportune time.
Yeah. Myself and Dale were talking about that. We just needed to get to the backstretch there, and they caught us out pretty good. But it's all good. I'll take a P3. Happy with that.
Yeah, not a bad finish tonight, and definitely extending that points lead for you. So definitely going to be a big deal. Pretty much close to probably locking you into the finals for this season. So definitely going to be great momentum, I would think, as we look for 2 more races at Talladega before we get to the finals.
Yeah, I should be in good shape, but I still need to keep the pressure on and just make sure I can maintain here, and hopefully we can get some of the other guys up there, get them to join us in the playoffs.
Good deal. All right, well, congratulations again on a 3rd place finish. Definitely fought hard to get back to that podium placing, and I want to give you the chance to give any shout-outs that you'd like to, or thank yous that you'd like for the evening.
Big shout out to the Boot Knocker boys there that I raced with. Always a great bunch. Good job again tonight. Some of them a bit unlucky, or highly unlucky, I should say. And of course, Area 51 for putting on the league, and you guys for broadcasting the big show. You guys do a great job in the booth. Max and Boomer there, fantastic. Love watching or hearing you guys afterwards.
Definitely appreciate that, Gabe, and good luck to you for the rest of the season. Definitely looking to see him towards the front of the pack once again as we move through the season. So looking to see through the Discord here, I cannot find the 18 of James Mullen. So unfortunately, I don't know if we'll be able to get an interview with him. We're going to try and work on it here, but for now, we're going to pull up our race winner. That was Kyle Heath in the 54 truck. So definitely exciting for him tonight, winning the race here at Daytona International Speedway. I don't know. I know this is your first win of the season. Is this your first win in Area 51 in the Super Speedway trucks?
Yes, I do believe so. In the Super Speedway, yes.
That is absolutely exciting. A big first win here for Kyle Heath. Take us through that final restart and what it took to get that finish, that first place finish.
It took a whole lot of pushing. My teammate behind me, Jason Adams, pushed the heck out of me as much as he could, and made it. Somebody made it 3 wide with Gabe Butler on the inside, and it lost their momentum. And all I could do was just keep on pushing and be clear and get down low. And Gabe pretty much pushed me to the win on that one, on that last lap. I got kind of nervous because I got pushed below the yellow line. I didn't want to get penalized.
Speaking of that, Kyle, man, I've raced with you a lot the past 2 seasons over on Monday nights, beating and banging over there. Haven't raced with you much in the trucks, but man, it seems like this season the wins you get are nothing short of absolutely interesting, right? From the race me and you had at Texas with the nail biter there to tonight getting knocked down below the apron and only getting it by 2/100ths of a second. How did you get your truck even in position tonight with all those yellows and all those major wrecks? How'd you keep yourself clean through all that?
To be honest with you, I have no idea. It seems like every time I'm in a super speedway race, I get caught up in one incident. And tonight, I don't know, something was on my side tonight and my truck was clean. I sure would love to have fresh tires at the end because my right front was kind of worn because, Daytona, they wear out the tires. But I don't know how I did it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, definitely a lot of tire wear here, more so than Talladega for Daytona, but a great opportunity. Obviously, you mentioned you had your teammate in the 24 outside pushing you, and then you had the one truck of Gabe Butler pushing you to the end. Definitely, great work to try and get some teammate work for you there up at the front. You really were the only two teammates for BFR Motorsports. There weren't anyone else at the front of the field there that had a teammate in mind to be able to push. So definitely fortunate for you guys to be there at the end.
Yeah, it was awesome. I appreciate it for Jason so much to get me up there.
Good deal. All right, well, we want to give you a chance now to give any thank yous and shout outs for the win tonight. Definitely a big deal being your first at a super speedway. So go ahead and give those shout outs.
Shout out to you guys for putting it out there. Shout out to Area 51 for putting this race on. Shout out to my wife when she's a sponsor of my truck, MeMarieDesigns.com. And another shout out to my nephew Aiden. He's out there in the chat on the broadcast watching it. So, hey Aiden, I hope you enjoyed the race, buddy.
Awesome. Well, again, congratulations for your first Super Speedway win, first win of the year. Definitely going to be a good big points night to try and launch Kyle into the finals for the season. So it does unfortunately look like that we're not going to be able to get an interview with James Moen. So wanted to try and get some of his insight for maybe the early incidents as well as still battling it back to be very fortunate to finish second in this race tonight. So unfortunately not going to be able to grab a interview with him. So I mean, take us through what this was tonight, Maxwell. What are your thoughts from Daytona tonight?
Well, we started out nice, lean, and clean, and then was minding our own business. And one incident with guys coming down on pit road turned into a lot of crashes, and toward the end, a lot of big ones. Right? A couple things we noted at the start of the broadcast that we saw tonight. We saw the apron bite some guys. Right? We saw them go down and just barely clip that apron, and again, with no banking, it really jacked them up. They may not have been the ones that spun out, but it caused a lot of incidents on behind them, even there toward the end of the race, causing big pile-ups where guys were having to check up for that. And we also saw a lot of guys get in trouble early that were our players at the end, and that don't typically happen. Normally when guys take those faster pairs, they hang out at the back for a while. But we had cautions at such weird times throughout this race that it really, every caution completely shook up who was up front. So it was an absolute mad dash there at the end. I thought it was awesome to see someone like Gabe Butler, who got shuffled in and out of the lead so much, still find a way, like he does each and every week, to make it back to the top three. That's why he's leading your points right now. He's absolutely consistent. And, another new winner tonight, Boomer. That's what, 6 races and 6 winners? So who's to say we won't do 12 races and 12 winners? And if that's the case, man, how are these playoffs going to look in 2 weeks if we keep having different winners each week?
Yeah, definitely. It'll be exciting for sure to see how it ends out for the rest of the season. So we'll bring up the results here in a second and we'll go through them. But definitely big advantage for Gabe Butler as he's going to look to further extend his points lead. Currently about a 39-point lead over Todd Siebel's in second. But a big night for Kyle Heath as he was coming into tonight 15th place, one of the guys that we said that was within 30 points of the top 8. So that's going to be a huge points night for him tonight, getting that win. So again, Kyle Heath at the top of the scoring pylon for tonight. James Moen, Gabe Butler, Taylor Toller, and Eric Laurie rounded out the top 5. Bud Steele was able to recover from that last incident to maintain a 6th place finish, as well as Robert Jordan, who brought out our second to last caution as well, spinning off of pit road. Dean Wilkinson, Mark Mann, and Darlin Stewart also in the top 10. We do also see Vicente Guerrero, Robert Rock, Derek Walker, J.D. Crow, and Randy Miner in the top 15, followed by Joshua Gathright, Jay Hillard, and Jason Adams, the top 18. So unfortunate for Jason for sure. Had his teammate pushed his teammate quite a ways to the front and allowed him to get the win. And unfortunately, he made contact with that outside wall and brought him back to an 18th finish here tonight. So results maybe not showing the hard work that they put in tonight for sure. But we'll move down the ladder, followed by looks like in 19th place we had Dale Willoughby and Bob Fitzgerald, which will round out your top 20. Richard Sanchez among one of the cars, one lap down in 21st, followed by Andrew Schroeder, Todd Siebels, David Overstreet, and Gary Slapinski in your top 25. BK Anderson and Sebastian Marin, 26th, 27th. Tough night for them. Really wrong place, wrong time. And Sebastian also getting an extra penalty coming down pit road. So definitely a few, rare mistake maybe from our defending or reigning champion, unfortunately there tonight. But we did see Andy Brigante, Keith Horner, and Diego Vasquez round out our top 30. Some of the guys that wrecked out early included Seth Groover, Tom Dixon, and Charles Sanchez in 31st through 33rd. And again, we mentioned Michael Malm did not start the race. So that is your results, all of the results for the evening. So, we'll be back next week at Talladega. What are you expecting for the final two races of the of the regular season, I should say here, Maxwell?
Well, I'll say this. I've been in the booth for 3 weeks, and it's like we talked before the broadcast. 3 weeks, and no race has been the same. Everything's been totally different, and like this one started out with a lot of green for once, and after that, we went back to wrecking, and some of the other races, we didn't even have green flag stops at Talladega. So looking to see at Talladega if we are going to start getting into the last two races, guys really trying to mind their P's and Q's to points their way in. Are they going to kind of take it more conservative? Are they going to make sure they make these green flag pit stops and get the strategies right? Or are we going to see guys just absolutely going for it and just having, I don't want to say a wreck fest, but just having some major accidents that will be deciding factors on who gets in these playoffs? We'll have a drop week going into week 8 to shuffle the points a little just to see where everyone's at. And, the next 2 weeks, man, it's going to be a mad dash. Some of those guys were really close on the line tonight. I don't know with all the craziness tonight how that shakes up the points, but I'm telling you, that battle for 8th should be intense all the way down to race 8.
Yeah, definitely. It'll be exciting as we come back to Talladega. We will do 2 more races at the Talladega Super Speedway, and I'm not going to be able to show it on the broadcast, but I'm going to pull up and just talk to the rest of the season that we have for the schedule at least. So for the 2022 Season 2 for the Area 51 Super Speedway trucks, again, we had Daytona tonight, which was our 6th race of the season. So we'll have Talladega Super Speedway on June 9th and June 16th. After that, so the next 2 races at Talladega, we will have our finals, or our chase, I should say. We'll have June 23rd will be our first race at Daytona. We'll take an off week on June 30th, and we'll remind you that as we get closer to that as well. Coming back on July 7th, that'll be Talladega Super Speedway, the second race of the chase, followed by Daytona and Talladega to round out our 4-race chase format. So it'll be exciting for sure. Definitely looking to see maybe a little bit more urgency for guys trying to get points, trying to get wins, to climb that ladder and get into the top 8, because again, only the top 8 drivers will be able to race in the chase for the championship. So starting to heat up as we are now halfway through the season tonight. Looking forward to some more action at the super speedways here on Thursday nights. Again, here at Green White Checkered TV, we do also cover all of the Area 51 leagues, so check back in. Our next race of the week will be Sunday night. That is our Xfinity Super Speedway Series, so please feel free to check in on them on Sunday, and next week we'll be back with Monday, the Next Gen Series on Monday nights, and the Tuesday IndyCar Series here as well, covered by Green White Checkered TV. So lots lots of excitement throughout the week, and definitely lots of excitement as we close out this week being the 6th week of all of our seasons. So it'll be interesting to see where we're at halfway through each of the seasons, and looking forward to next week at Talladega, 2 more weeks at Talladega before we get to the playoffs. So that will do it for us here tonight at Green White Checkered TV. Thanks for hopping along board, Maxwell, and for myself, Boomer Logan, we will be signing off. We hope you have a great night and hope to see you back next week.